That's definitely not good. Hey there, YouTubers. Me again. Today we're going to be working on my C4 Corvette. She got no AC, and it's god-awful hot outside. So I think it's a good idea to try to get the AC charged up. I have no idea if it works. I don't have any idea if it has any leaks. I know nothing. All right, I bought the car with the AC the way it is. I can't remember if I've ever opened the system or not. I don't believe I have. But it was sitting for like 10 years before I bought it, or more. So I'm just simply going to vacuum the system, which many of you may or may not have that capability. I highly recommend vacuuming it. That takes any impurities, any water, condensation, anything that has accumulated inside the system, because I'm not going to put any new parts. I'm simply going to charge this thing up. So I'm going to vacuum the system first. You can bypass that if you want. Like if yours is just down after you've been driving it, it was working and now it's not. You probably got a leak somewhere, so you might want to try to find that. But if it's a real slow leak, maybe you just want to charge it up. So this video will be good for that too. But I'm going to start with vacuuming the system, which you will need a vacuum pump and a set of gauges, or at least a low side line. If you can buy, I did a video just today, it was yesterday and today, and I found out that you can hook the the low side line directly to the vacuum pump. So you don't need gauges. If you just go out and buy a line, a low side car AC line, it'll hook up to the car and then you can just screw it on to the pump. And guess what? It works just fine. And there are all sorts of adapters depending on what you have on your pump. Mine's already set up. I'm just going to use the gauges because I want to vacuum it from both sides, from the high and the low side. Like I said, you do not have to vacuum it if you don't want to, but it does ensure a cleaner charge and less chance of clogging up your orifice tube and all that good stuff. So anyway, let's get started. You'll see what I was talking about here in a minute. This blue line right here, this is the low line. The other side of this will actually go to the vacuum pump. So if you rent the vacuum pump, you can buy either rent a set of gauges too, or you can buy just this low side line or cold line, however you want to call it. I forgot one major problem with this car, and that is it's a 1984. And it is an old R12 system, probably the last of the R12s. I don't know when they switched over. But anyway, I was sitting here like an idiot trying to put these on here and realized, they're R12 fittings. So I got a couple of these. These are adapters. They're fairly self-explanatory because this is going to be your low side, because see big tubes coming out? Big tubes make low pressure. Over here you can't really see because it's tucked way in behind the fender, but this is the high side. It's got really skinny tubes. And that is how you tell the difference. And it's the same with these. The low and high will not go on each other. So we got to make sure this is the right one. I'm pretty sure, yeah, because you can tell by looking at them also. Well, no, maybe you can't. The easiest way to test them is take your tool here. I couldn't come up with the word. And this is going to be the high side because it goes on the high side. So this must be the low side, which I almost put on backwards. If I could find what I did with the there we go. And you put it on the low one. Oh no, these are both high sides. Oh boy, I'm an idiot. This is also they're both high sides. Great. This is all such a jumbled up mess already. I ended up having to order a low side because I didn't have one. So I'm going to go ahead and put the low side on there now. There we go. Uh-oh. Oh. You hear that sound? That's my vacuum pump. The reason it's doing that is because I just opened the system. And I got to tighten that up real quick. I don't think that's going to be the right size. You can hear the vacuum pump changing pitch again. That's because I've sealed up that side once again. And now I actually have the correct fitting for this to fit onto. Of course, it's in a great odd space. It would be 9 feet long, but we got to get it on there, so. There we go. Golly. I can't even tell if I'm on. Just so you see what I'm talking about, you see this needle? It's below 0. That's because it's pulling a vacuum. And that's what we're looking for. I'm going to let it pull a vacuum for a few hours. I'm going to go wash my other truck, or my truck, one of my trucks. And while I'm washing it, we're going to let this vacuum. I've shut the pump off, and as you can see, it's still below 0. It's holding, so that's a good sign. So far, no major leaks, because it would just go right down if it was a bad leak. So I'm going to let it sit overnight, because I've run out of time. Got to spend a little time with the family. I'll charge her up tomorrow, but for now, we're going to leave it in a vacuum and see if it holds. I've let it vacuum for the rest of the evening, and then I shut it off and I let it sit in a vacuum overnight. And when I came in the morning, it was no longer in a vacuum. So that means that we've got a slow leak somewhere. It holds the vacuum for a little while, but then it'll eventually leak down. That's not good news. So I have a hole somewhere, but I don't have any idea where. First of all, we are changing from R12 to R134. And secondly, we've got a leak. Thank God, because R12 is like $1 million a can if we were to use that. They also have Freeze 12, which you can replace it with. That's also like $1 million. So we're going to put R134 in it. It will not work as efficiently, but it will work. So I'm going to go ahead and load her up with R134, and I'm going to put in some dye. I have this. It is recharge kit, and it has some leak stopper, which that never works. But it also has UV leak detector in it, which is basically a bright yellow dye that you put inside your system, and it will tell you if something is leaking. I am going to suspect probably in this area, hopefully. I'm hoping it's this area here. I'm going to go ahead and load it up with some dye, see where the dye is coming from, and see if I can't figure out, hopefully it's something simple, and we'll get that fixed. The condenser looks fantastic, and I can't see the evaporator, of course. The evaporator is usually under the dashboard somewhere, or hidden in a box that comes from under the dashboard. So that's the worst case scenario. This has got 1 million hoses and fittings and stuff on it, so it could be anywhere. By putting the dye in there, it's going to be a telltale way of finding out where is my leak. I think no, it was these. I thought maybe I had taken these off at some point. But we're just going to put the dye in it and figure it out. And it's also got a leak detector. And I also put a little sticker on it telling that it's been converted to R134. So I'm going to pull this off of here. It's in a vacuum right now. Come on, baby. It's not going to be easy because golly, this thing is so close to the radiator. I probably could have put an elbow on there. I had to put this new fitting on. And that thing's like super, I don't know why they made it so long, but taking all these off, that way we can go ahead and recharge it. I'm going to start with the can of sealer and dye, and I don't know if I'm even going to be able to get this on here. It's going to be, because of the angle of that, where this is, it's going to be kind of a humdinger. Yeah, that's going to go, I think. Come on. There we go. Except for the hose is severely crimped. Okay, well, what we're going to have to do, that's not going to work because that hose has got a big old crimp in it right here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to rotate this slightly. I don't see it hurting anything. I'm going to undo the screw down here, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to rotate it slightly just so I can get that away from the fan. I was not able to rotate that even a smidge, but I was able to lift it so that it's clear. So I'm going to take, oh gosh, these things are, oh, and it's starting to leak. These things are like the junkiest of junk. Now you'll see it's yellow, right? And it is going in because it's in a vacuum. Now I got to start the car and turn the air conditioner on in a minute. But right at the moment I'm just putting this in, letting the vacuum do its thing. We're going to leave this on and start the car. This car hasn't been started in a while, so this can be a cold start video. Let the engine warm up a little bit. I'm going to bring our attention over to here, and we're going to turn the AC on. I can't even read it. There we go. Air conditioning max. Okay, it's already there. It's on cool. Fan on high. There we go. Alright, engine's idling. AC's on high. Okay. I pulled it off, and I'm hearing a hissing sound after I pull it off. It's really weird because I'm not feeling anything. I don't know. The fan on, it goes away. Anyway, I am now going to hook up a regular can of Freon. There we go. And we're going to take a look at the gauge here. Obviously, it's got some pressure, very high, but the compressor is not running. Pay attention to the compressor right here. We're going to press this. Why the pressure's so high, with only a little bit in there, I'll never know. It isn't pulling down, obviously, because the compressor's not running. So we're going to put a little bit more Freon. Now you see, boy, it sucked it right in. This supposedly, and I'll show you that tag in a minute, supposedly takes 44 ounces. So that's quite a bit. And as you can see, it's not even turning the compressor on yet, and I've already put 14 in there. Is that on? Yep. I'm not even feeling the Freon going in. So that means either this can is empty or it's not going in. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Although I see some sparking going on the wiring. That's not good. But it did start to go on. The can's about empty. Now you see what I'm doing with it, tipping it upside down? That's not a recommended thing to do. If you know what you're doing, it's fine because it speeds up this situation, but if you're not really knowing what you're doing, I don't recommend you do this. Time to change out the can. Got a brand new can here. There's still quite a bit left in the can, but we can put it in after we get the compressor running. What's happening is the pressure in the system is higher than the pressure in the can, so it's not allowing it to go in. So we're going to put a fresh can on there. And that should get us our compressor running, if it didn't blow the fuse when it went in. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Okay, we got her engaging now. Still very, very high pressure. The compressor sounds terrible. There we go. See how it's pulling down into the green zone? That's what we want. When I shake the can, I can feel it get cold. It should take all three of these cans because the system was empty. So it should take all three cans for that. Oh, you see how it's almost all the way out of the green? We're going to let it run for a minute. Not good. Should pull down. That means there's too much in it. We may have to let a little out. Or it's leaking out so fast that the compressor's not working good. Yeek. The compressor's running and it ain't pulling it down. Well, folks, by the sounds of that compressor, by the fact that it's not pulling on the Freon, I'm saying that that compressor might be no good. That's definitely not good. I can hear something leaking somewhere. I'm going to say that that compressor is not any good anyway. Now I'm spraying everything down with soapy water. See if I can find the source of that hissing sound. That's not any of the stuff over here that I can see. Where the heck? Okay, I found the leak right here. Here. It rubbed against this hose clamp, vibration-wise, and it eventually put a hole in that line. So, fortunately, it only goes from here to here. So it's a fairly short line. Shouldn't be very expensive if I can even get it. Problem is, I may have smoked my compressor. Why have I smoked my compressor? Remember when I told you, don't turn it upside down? Well, I wasn't turning it upside down at the time, and I actually stopped doing it. And I let it sit, and it kept climbing and climbing and climbing, which that could be the compressor just giving up, or whatever the case may be. But it could have been because I hydrauliced it by putting it in as a liquid. It's hard to say. That's why I say don't do that, because it can do that. Now, I don't know if that's what caused it. This compressor is pretty old. It may have been on its way out anyway. The cool thing about it is, well, I don't know how cool it is. Well, uncool, because I've got to buy a line. Now, I don't know if I want to buy a new compressor, or I do have one off of another engine that I could put on here. I just hate doing all that work with a used compressor. You know what I'm saying? The only good thing about that is if I put a used one, I don't have to worry about oil, because it's already going to have oil in it. I don't have to do all the things. If you watch one of my other videos of changing a compressor, you will see, me have to go through all that with a new one. So I'm leaning towards the old one, plus I have it and it's free. I probably even have that line now that I think about it. So I'm going to take a walk out in the graveyard and see if I can't scalp that line off the other car. And maybe we can get away with this job for freebie. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and fire it up now. I'll let you watch, because it could be a nightmare. And I'm going to start the car up, turn the AC off, start it up, get the belt going, and just gently bump the AC. It's leaked quite a bit of Freon by this point. See if I can't save that compressor. If not, we do have another. Well, it's working. It's probably hydraulic, but it's cooling very little because it can't build pressure with that line. So at this point, I'm going to change out the line and we're going to start over. I replaced the line and we're back to here. We got nothing in it right now. I'm going to take chances. There's like 0 in it right now. Feel the can get cold when I shake it. But I'm going to be careful. I don't want to put too much in this system, because there we go. Look, we're going to stop right there. Well, we can't stop right there because the pressure's not on. Duh. There we go. There we go. Compressor's trying to start. Sounds like a box of rocks. It's filling. I'm not putting any more in. Looks like the pressure is getting too high again. Starts creeping into the yellow. I'm going to let some Freon out. Creeping up. Loosen the high side. Oh, wait, should pull down. Well, the fan turned on. Pulling it down. There we go. Good deal. Okay. That's what we needed with that fan. Okay, the fan pulled it down to where she got enough in her again. Okay. Technically that fan's supposed to come on anyway, so that was my bad. Yeah, she borderline don't have enough now. That was the problem, the engine wasn't warm enough. See how it pulls down every time there's not enough in there now. I continued to fill till I am right on the edge, because being R134, this is not going to cool as well as R12. R12 is the bomb. I'm right on the edge of too much pressure, and this compressor don't like it when it starts getting more. It should pull down as it cools off. But I'm going to check the temperature on the outside, and then I'm going to check the temperature on the inside of the car. Ambient temperature in the garage right now is 86, 85. Definitely cooler in here. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with the camera picking this up. Here we go. 66, 65, 64, 63, 62, 160. That's pulling down. So not too bad. 60, 59 even. Wait, oh, bounce back up because I got off the vent. So 59 degrees coming off. There we go. Alright. So 59 degrees coming out of the vents. And 87 outside. There you have it. Converted from R12 to 134. That compressor sounded like a box of rocks when it first started up. And then by trying to rush, you saw what it did. That's why I warned you about tipping the can upside down. You saw that compressor lock right up at hydraulics. It seems the more I run it, it seems to be getting better. It's starting to even out. It's not sounding like such a box of rocks anymore. Probably because the oil has finally started moving through the system and getting into the compressor and what have you. So I didn't want to give up on that compressor right away. I do have another one. I ended up replacing that line because it had a hole in it. Fortunately for me, I have a parts car. It's a recommended idea if you buy one of these, you know. So I went out and I had a good line on that one. I've got some good lines all the way around on that, plus another compressor if I need it. I hate to go through all the work to put a used compressor on, but I actually looked at the system on that car and it actually was really good shape. So anyway, and the engine out of that car is got a surprise for that. But anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped you out. If you have an R12 system, don't expect it to work as well as it did with R12. If you watch some of my other videos of recharging air conditioners, I think my Sonoma pulled like 49 degrees, okay? This pulled 59. But it was 92 degrees out when I pulled 49 with the Sonoma. This is pulling, what was it? I think the best I got out of it was 59, okay? So, where was it, 49? But anyway, it wasn't near as low as what the Sonoma was pulling, and it's not near as high. Well, it's 87, and 92 is 5 degrees, but nonetheless, it's not going to work as good as it would have with R12, but it works. And it works good enough, it sure beats sweating, let me tell you that. Now, I still don't know if all the leaks are out of this. Let's hope, right? You can always hope and pray. I did put some of the yellow dye in there. I don't know about other brands, but this brand sucks. Okay, let me show you, just because I just want to show you how bad it sucks. It literally, this falls right off, and it's just junk. This was empty, right? Yeah, it's empty. So, you know, it is what it is. I don't even know if the sealer is even any good in it. So you might want to buy a better quality sealer. I don't know. I tried it in the Sonoma. It didn't work, the sealer. But I put it in this. Maybe it'll work. I don't know if I even have any other leaks in this. I bubbled it everywhere. I didn't see any leaks that were apparent. So this should be successful, I hope. But it's working right now. It's decent. It works. I'm happy. I hope it's helped you all out. If it has, do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. Helps me immensely. And I have lots of cars to work on. I'm doing a lot of AC work right now because it's hot out. I've got a couple of cars that don't have AC and never will. And we won't be driving those in the middle of the summer. But anyhow, I've got one that makes a lot of engine heat and gets even hotter in the car. That's great. But this one has AC. I've got a few of them with AC. Those are the ones I'm going to drive in the summertime. In the wintertime, or on nice days in the fall and the spring, we drive the other ones. So anyway, thank you for subscribing. If you haven't already, please press that button. And tell your friends, hit the old bell, and it doesn't hurt to hit the old like button either. See ya!